The Ukraine crisis now is at the forefront when it comes to coverage of international relations. What's happening? How is the United States of America and her allies going to react to the aggression that could, or the invasion that could take place from Russia into Ukraine? To answer all these questions, I'm being joined by a senior researcher at the University of Florida in the United States of America, Dr. Tatsiana Kulakevich. Many thanks for joining us over here, Dr. Tatsiana. If I could begin with you trying to explain what was the trigger for this recent crisis.
Well, in this case, after there is a lot of tensions in the region these days. For example, there have been ongoing protest activities, 1 year ago, that started 1 year ago in Belarus. Alexander Lukashenko of Belarus has been unleashing a brutal crackdown. Belarus has more than 1,000 political prisoners these days, and that's unprecedented number. And Kazakhstan, that's another country that experienced protest like merely a week ago, and security forces were sent to the country to suppress the protests. They were called as peacekeepers there. And the Ukrainian public have been leaning west after the annexation of Crimea in 2014, and also declared that they want to apply for the European Union membership in 2024 and join NATO. So Russia wants to keep Ukraine in its sphere of influence. At the same time, it also is moving military forces into the Belarusian territory for joint military exercises. But at the same time, it is kind of the military on a territory that's not just threatening Ukraine, but also already in Belarus, and that's also threatening the
Well, there is a lot of crisis brewing within Ukraine as well, and I'll ask you to touch upon that. But before that, let's just talk about the military prowess. Now, 100,000 soldiers, Russian soldiers at the Ukraine-Russia border. We are looking at Russia now not backing down and telling the West that they're going to go ahead should the West continue interference. On the other hand, the West, United States of America in particular, has said that there will be consequences should Russia invade. In such a scenario, where do you see, in your assessment, how do you look at the comparison of military force in Ukraine versus military force in Russia, also with additional forces coming in for Ukraine from NATO?
Yes, that's a great question. I expect that the full-blown military invasion of Ukraine by Russia is unlikely. Russia may give some fire into the ongoing conflict in Eastern Europe, in Eastern Ukraine, which it does not is claiming that is not involved. But current military buildup is the comparison is Russia has much less power than the United States and Europe combined. So Russian economy is 14 times smaller than the United States ones and 10 times smaller than the Europe's ones. So, for example, if war happens, which God forbid, and I think it's unlikely, the United States and Europe will be able to rebuild its military. Russia will not be able to. So current tensions that are happening right now, as they are saying, 85,000 soldiers were put on the high alert. It's before the talks that will be happening next week. Negotiations will be were arranged, and Europe and the United States are talking about possibilities for avoiding this conflict because they have different offers to make to Russia, for example, Nord Stream using Nord Stream gas pipeline.
Yeah, that's an important aspect. Now, you spoke about negotiations between U.S. and Russia, so let's stick to that. The Russians have put a proposal with questions to the United States of America. They have to respond in a week's time. You think U.S.'s position will change a little to bring them to a diplomatic solution?
Well, Russia has been achieving already kind of advantages and demonstrating force to its domestic audience. Russian President Vladimir Putin enjoyed very high rankings when he annexed Crimea in 2014. Currently, he's demonstrating forces and strengths to its domestic public. And he already brought the United States for the talks several times while he has been building the presence on the Ukrainian border. They were ineffective so far, but right now, United States and Australia and the United Kingdom already ordered their citizens to leave Ukraine to protect their citizens. This buildup on the Ukrainian border is unprecedented. It's the first time in history this buildup is happening on the border. But basically, Russia is building up tensions. They are hitting the situation right now to improve their odds, the probability that the Western countries actually will offer him something more than the previous talks.